Okay, I'm bringing you this from Ray's garage. Yeah, I'm in my kind of a broken chair. It's a nice day out today. My pup is right here beside me. He's been running in and out. Boy. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. I have looked at Depot over from that Bruce conducted the other day on Jeremy. I'm at least a third of the way through it. I'll probably read through it a couple times. I'm not going to go over anything with you on my channel right now. That everybody out there has pretty much wore it out. You don't need to hear third, fourth, or fifth hand from me. But I can tell you, so far what I've got is that the only unprofessional part I've seen was Jeremy, and my opinion, obviously. And I thought that Bruce conducted himself very well, in an intelligent manner. So that's my take on it. I wanted to make sure you guys understand there is no qualms that I have about who I feel is in the right in this situation. And also, I wanted to pat somebody on the back that has come on the scene, 5-6 months ago, and made a difference in the life of Michelle and John and Harley. And I think brought along a lot of people that are now friends with this family. My hat's off to them, and my heart is with them, and I stand behind him 100% at this point, 100%. Two leaves in a pod have stuck their neck out, put their time, money, and energy into this project. They've been accused of everything in the book. They've been called every name you can think of. The one thing I can say is they've gained some true friends along the way. People that believe in people, that believe in helping rather than hinder. They both start with an H. Hell and heaven, they're both start with an H. Help and hinder. Which side do you want to be on? I know the side that I chose, and there is no qualms at all. Now, in just a short period of time, let's think about this. They went out and they proved their point with the documentation, with phone calls, and with eyewitnesses. They did that. A lot of hard work in a very short period of time. They took this squabble and deciphered it and give it back so that you would understand it. And yet, there's people out there that don't want to look at it and don't want to hear it. They refuse. In this short period of time, the people out there said how bad they hated that place. It stunk. You smell shit, garbage. It was a mess out there. Nobody in town liked them. Nobody in town liked that place. No neighbors wanted anything to do with them. Lisa came along. Tori. Robbie. Dave. I came along. But Lisa went out there, and all of a sudden, people wanted to say, let's build this fence. Nobody will have to put up with them, and they won't have to put up with those people. That's a simple way let's just settle this right now. And they did it. They didn't talk about it. They went out and did it. They collected the money. They coordinated the effort. Some of the neighbors came in there and helped. Thomas Collins came in there and helped. Lisa and her husband were there helping. Jeremy's neighbor was there helping. It's got to say something, doesn't it? For all of you people that work so hard, the neighbors and people of that town, and the people from out of town, and the people that gave to get this fence, you're a blessing. You're part of the Lord's people, without a doubt. You're helping a family that needed it. So what happens to these people that didn't want to go by there, didn't want to look at that, they want to smell the garbage? They had all these things. Well, the funny thing is, Thomas went by there, he said, it don't smell any different than anything I've ever. I mean, I don't know what's there. He took pictures of it. The place didn't look bad. I mean, if you look for a garbage pile, you're going to find it. Remember, this is a small town. It's kind of in the boonies. So you store up your stuff, and then you take it all at once to the dump site. You don't make a daily visit to the dump site. Now, they were able to get that fence up, right? Once it was up, then these same people that bitched about it, they're mad. And they accused Lisa of running off with money. And they thought this fence cost $30,000. And, they just went... the cost of the fence was right there on the channel. It was talked on the channel, how they were going to do it, how much of the fence was going to be, how much it was going to cost. And these people come up with these stories. Oh, are they wild? And it was kind of interesting to look at how things can get taken out of context. But then you got to remember, the main player in this whole thing takes things out of context too. Oh, for goodness sake. Well, John and Michelle and little Harley have went through more than most prisoners do in a war. And I'm talking about psychological warfare at its worst. They've lived near to this for over 2 years. I don't know how they did it. I just don't. And it's still a daily worry for them. Now, the one content creator claims that his life has been threatened, and he has to worry about it, that his employees, that their lives are being attacked. And yet John and Michelle go through this continuously, night and day. People are always making threats. One of the threats is to take that daughter and grab her. One guy put a song out there about the angel of death coming down for a visit to that daughter. Took it off right away, but it was too late because other people had got it. Took a screenshot, and they've got it. They've got it. They're presenting it to the legal authorities. It was in poor taste, without a doubt. And the same person likes to make them about a lot of people. I mean, this creator that's out there that got this thing going to this hyper thing that's just growing and crawling, and it's got all kinds of things in it. Has gathered around him a group of people that on a very daily basis they're doing the same thing, and he comes up with something, and then boom, at least 3 or 4 of them come up within a day or two, and then they step it out and they go over it and over it and over it. You know what I'm talking about. And it gets old. You get tired of hearing it. But here, let's listen to this good side for a little bit. I told you I wanted to stay in the good things. And I come on here and I'm talking about some of the bad things, didn't I? I couldn't just let it lay. But now let's get back to the good things. Now this bunch of people come together, got this thing built, and these other people that was on the other side, they said, oh no, this is all graft and grift and all kinds of stuff. And, they walked away with this money, and I wonder if they're reporting it to IRS, and I wonder if they reported it to here, and I want to know if they reported it here. And along the way, they're reporting her for child abuse and all kinds of stuff. And yet when the Child Protective Services came out there, at least 27 times, but actually I think it's a little more, they were given a clean bill of health. No write-ups. In their turtle sanctuary, yeah, it got inspected, and they had several notices of things they had to improve, but nothing to get fined for. They didn't get fined, and they made the improvements that had to be done. That's what you do. But it really has worked out much better. So we seen the yard, and it looks pretty good. And there's also something going on to get that house done. Now with the fence up there, it makes it a little harder for people to see what's going on in that house, to that house, around that house. Now, John and Michelle had to put up some sheets so that they have a little bit of privacy up there where they actually live in a travel trailer until they get their house done. And people were taking pictures of it, probably from an illegal place. They probably were on public roadway, I don't doubt that, looking at it. But when a fence is built, then they call that, they're peeping. Okay. Invasion of privacy. Because once you build that fence up, you expect a certain amount of privacy, and that didn't happen. And people keep saying, well, it's law. You can do it because they did it, whoever took the pictures did it from public. Well, we're wondering how many were taken by the cameras across the road, because, well, there was 9 cameras there, so they're up high enough to look over the fence. But that'll be a matter for somebody else to decide. You and I don't have to do that. And we probably shouldn't be talking too much about it since we weren't involved, except for the fact that they keep bringing it up to our channels, my channel, telling me how bad these people are, and the proof is in the pudding. They say, look here. And yet they're breaking the law to do it. I mean, you got a guy going down the road. Let me give you this little scenario. He's holding the camera out the truck as high as he can over the fence so he can take pictures. Let me tell you what it looks like. He's running around, bounce down the road. Okay. Now you think I'm kidding you? Well, while he was doing that, John happened to hear him coming, because you can hear the truck. It's kind of loud. It's got a diesel motor in it, you know, all that shit. So he goes up to the gate, his gate on his property, and he waits for this guy to come by, this creator. At the time, the guy didn't know he was there, right? He's doing his thing. Bounce. John captures it on his camera. Lord. Now, I want you to understand something. John and Michelle are going to have to take a lot more pictures and camera shots so that they can protect themselves, to prove where they're at, what they're doing, and who's chasing who. I mean, they don't have a choice at this point, but it'll be spun the other way, because that's what they do. They make mountains out of molehills. But if you see it, you're going to get a kick out. You'll laugh. You'll laugh, I guarantee you. Now, just to let you know, Dave is a good guy from Super Dave, and he's getting really nailed. He's just a young fella. So he needs your help whenever he can. Please don't tear him apart. And do that. You know, Thomas is doing everything he can to be a great citizen out there. Now, believe me, I think he is. Robbie, he's a great guy. He's down to earth. Now, he's had some experience around this other creator. And he probably knows this guy better than any of the rest of us put together, or all of us put together, when it really comes down to it. And poor Guapo out there, he's getting the shit end of the stick to, and storage legends. I feel sorry for him. He's a young man, and man, he's got the whole world. He is moving. He is doing things that other people only dream about. And my hat's off to him. I realize that this little thing here is going to grate on some of you, and I hope it don't. But for the people that like to listen to me, I'm so glad you came in to listen to a little bit. I wanted to tell you about a little bit about the story. Make sure that you know that Lisa, when she says she's going to do something, she don't just say it, she does it. And she took it from the very ground to the finish. And Gabe, her husband, became part of it right away. I can imagine. I bet you it didn't take him long to volunteer. But he sounds like a great guy, you know. And my hat's off to you, Gabe. I know you have a good sense of humor and you get kidded all the time. And somebody said you love cheese, but you sleepwalk when you eat too much of it. And I think I heard you walking around in your sleep not too long ago. But my hat's off to all of you. You really, Lisa, I am behind your channel 100%. And Tori, I think you're a great person. And I tell you what, you are a blessing for that whole team. You've been on there all this time, and you do so much research, and you're working away while you're talking. I don't know how you do it. How you can talk and work at the same time and make sense, and you always have your ears open. You don't miss anything. You're very detailed, and I'm glad for it. You're the best part of that I can think of. Oh, I was going to say the best part of the team, but the team itself is great. And then you can't take any one person and say they're the best part, because they all are equal. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. Get me in a lot of trouble. And there's a guy out there that's really come along. His name is Darwin. And he put a little ditty on the other day, and I had laughed so hard, my side still hurt. Go on his channel. And his name is Darwin Goodson. You're going to love it. And you can see him on Two Lees in a Pod channel. He's always on there for comments. And I'm not going to keep you too much longer. This thing's already running about 17 minutes. And I'll hit more and more on this stuff. Because as progress happens, I'll come back on here and try to do something about it. Bring a little light to it. I am disappointed that this thing couldn't have quieted down for the holidays. But I'm telling you what, it got worse, not better. I stepped back. I honestly stepped back. But when I seen how bad it was getting after this depot, and man, it's a tearjerker. Oh, John, again, I want to thank you and congratulate you. 5 months sober. You have done so far something that it's very hard for people to do. And my heart's with you, and I hope that continues. And I like your sense of humor. So, and Michelle, they tell me you're one hell of a cook, and that you took care of everybody out there and made sure that they didn't go home hungry when they were out there working at your place. And now it makes me wish I would come down there for a visit, but it's quite a little jaunt for me. Somebody the other day thought that I was Lisa's uncle. The only thing I can tell you is that we live in a pretty nice neighborhood. That's as close as I'm going to come to anything to tell you. So you figure it out from there to give you something to talk about, won't it? And yes, I'm really retired. So that's it. And in the words of John, ta-ta.